good evening, good afternoon, race fans. Hello from Williams Grove Speedway here in Mechanicsburg, PA. It's time for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing Live, RaceSpotTV, and of course, DirtVision.com. So, hello everybody, I'm Cameron Walsh with Randy Chenworth and Hugo Louis. We are bringing you, of course, the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series, our weekly series here on Monday nights. Randy, it's Williams Grove Speedway, and if the last time we were here is anything to go by, we're going to be in for a real treat today.
This has, I think, been consistently one of the best tracks for racing in this series thus far, and this is one of the first times we get to see it being run under the lights, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, either way, qualifying times are coming in here. Quite a couple of different names here today, but we'll see what they can do in the top split here in the iRacing World of Outlaws series. But either way, Williams Grove Speedway, just a quick look at it. It's a half-mile dirt oval. It's what you would consider a paper clip. We're going to be doing 30 laps. The weather's not too terrible. 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 67 down on the track, so fairly cool. Wind is completely negligible. Qualifying times have come in, though, Randy, and I think this track's going to be pretty quick. It's got some, at least moderate usage out on the track.
Yeah, it's already got been worn in a little bit. That middle groove isn't quite as grippy as it might normally be, and the bottom, I think, should be somewhat slippy as well. We're going to be interesting to see what exactly people do here tonight, where people find this grip over this 30-lap race.
Absolutely. So, either way, one car going out right now. Austin Semmelman is going out to do a second lap, as I don't think he's going to...
He's already done his lap.
Yeah, I was going to say...
He hit the wall in turn one, so this is far from a hot lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's just out warming up. So, either way, though, so that will secure the grid for our 13-car field here at Williams Grove Speedway. So, with that under tow, let's get the gridding underway here for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing Live, RaceSpotTV, and DirtVision.com. Lewis Hewitt, he'll qualify with number one with a 16.5. He'll be just ahead of Austin Semmelman in the second position. Alex A. Bergeron will be starting from third with Steven Renard, his outside, in position 4. Kevin J. Holly in 5th. Justin Thomas will start 6th. Alec R. Kane in 7th. Daniel Gow in 8th position. Robbie Starnes will be starting in 9th. Sarah Aarons in 10th position. Keith Starnes in 11th position. Chad Robinson in 12th. And Bob King, not a qualifying time here. He will start from the back of the grid in 13th position.
Of all the names for you to mess up, you mess up King.
Did I mess up King? I didn't think I did.
Well, you started to say Quing, and then you corrected yourself.
King. No, I don't know. But either way, Bob King, he'll start in the 13th position. But you know what? He had a fairly decent practice time. His practice time would have put him into the top 10. So we'll see here what everyone can do. Everyone seems to be fairly quick. We've only got, 3/10 between the entire field, so no surprises there. And top split World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series racing here on iRacing.com. But I got to say, Randy, last week was a bit of a mess. Let's see if we can clean it up here at Williams Grove Speedway.
Yeah, we've had a couple races here that have been a little bit hit or miss, and I think it's just been over-aggressiveness. Really hoping to see these guys maybe tone it back just a little bit and run some more green flag laps here tonight. Williams Grove always puts on a show if we can keep it clean and green, and I want to see a good show put on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lewis Hewitt, he'll start rolling off here at Williams Grove behind the iRacing pace truck. And they'll get some dirt on those tires. They'll get that grip on going behind the iRacing official pace truck. And we'll see what we can do here at Mechanicsburg. So either way, hello everybody once again. We hope you enjoy the race tonight. Hope you stick around, post-race interviews, depending on who comes in, of course. But either way, our pace truck looking to pull in, I believe, this lap. As
this is
yes.
lap 1.
Okay, well, his lights are off, though, so...
the lights are always off on the initial pace laps, Cam.
Oh, okay, well, fine. Either way, though, yeah, there he goes. He's going right on by the pit entry, but either way, it's Lewis Hewitt, Austin Semmelman, as they're on the second part of the track right now, and now they're going to be coming in. But for Lewis Hewitt, that number 4 car, we'll see what he can do. I think this is one of the first times I've seen him qualify first this season.
Yeah, so, I mean, Lewis Hewitt, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for him. I think Austin Semmelman's going to be really kicking himself here. The fact that Logan Seavey doesn't turn up and he misses out on a good pole position qualifying by only a thousandth of a second, I think he's going to be not happy about that.
Yeah, so pace trucks coming in this time. Now they go under the Blue Bridge at the backstretch at Williams Grove. I'll figure out the corners. But either way, here comes Lewis Hewitt, driver on the outside. Always has a tricky start here as the engines start getting underway. They stutter step 1, 2, 3, and there goes Lewis Hewitt. Massive jump as they're already 3 wide and going across the start-finish line. And here they come, Lewis Hewitt still holding a lead. And I see a yellow out on track as Alec Arcane is turned around.
So, initial incident already for Alec Arcane, turned around in 1 and 2, so he didn't make it very far at all. He actually ended up on his lid. Not sure what happened here. This is contact with the 10 of Justin Thomas.
Yeah, it looks like maybe, I think Thomas, that inside line you need to cut. It sort of sucks you in, I think, going across the start-finish line if you're in the low side. So he managed to get the bite to go up, and he kind of turned right across, and Alec Arcane was taking it 3 wide going into 1, which is not what we would want to do. We just saw, I think we had 6 cautions last time, and we're already on caution number 1. But yeah, Alec Arcane, I believe he is retiring as he's pulled off the track, and there we go. So for Alec Arcane, his night ends early. But either way, Lewis Hewitt, he bit a hesitation, I'd have to say, and I think that almost caused a conflagration.
Yeah, that was that was definitely some over-aggressive driving. I think just going a little bit over his head, just making it 3 wide this early. It's just sort of like, why, especially as worn in as this surface is. I don't want to say that people shouldn't be allowed to race, but if you're going to race hard, you have to race smart.
Yeah, and I mean, approaching turn number 1, you really don't just attack it as lights are still on the pacing track. It should go out this time by to get us back and underway, but it just seems so strange. When somebody's on the inside at Williams Grove, the car tends to really slide in. The car does not want to turn right, and especially it's got, I think, just enough banking to make it so it's kind of a bear. I mean, you can just see on the pacing lap here just how much the wheels are turned to go straight. So he was already in a little bit of trouble there, that car of Justin Thomas on the inside, and he was already depending on the car, somehow hoping to get some grip so he didn't hit the little bit of a guardrail that there was there, but pit out. But he managed to not hit it, and then Alec Arcane said hello. So either way, 1 car down, 1 caution down, 4 laps down. Lewis Hewitt will be starting us. Austin Semmelman once again on the outside line. We'll see, when does Lewis Hewitt go? He'll sit 1 second. He'll sit 2 seconds. Will he take the starter's green, or will he get underway in the middle of the corner? He'll go in the middle of the corner. And that number 4, Lewis Hewitt, gets away here at Williams Grove Speedway. They're chucking it into corner number 1 here at Mechanicsburg, PA.
We got another car in the wall. I'm not sure who this is. I think it's a black car. It's a 10 again of Justin Thomas. No big contact, but he clipped that inside wall going into 1 and 2, and that we almost had disaster. Another quick yellow, but almost another incident there for the 10 already.
Speaking of disaster, Austin Semmelman not a happy camper, though I see Bob King's turned around in front of the starter stand. Will that bring out the caution? I don't believe it does. But either way, Austin Semmelman, a little bit of a disaster going through the corners number 3 and 4. He's already fallen back to position number 4, and here comes Kevin Howley on his inside past the start-finish line. Austin Semmelman cycled back to 5th position in just 2 laps of green flag racing.
Yeah, that number 1 machine definitely not hooked up the way he'd like to be. He's still fighting with the 3 of Hawley as they come through 3 and 4, but that bottom is definitely hooked up right now. The top's not where you want to be, but he gets a big run and gets the cut under down the front straightaway, but we got a spinner down the front straightaway. Contact, yellow flies for the 2nd time tonight. That's Justin Thomas involved in already his 2nd incident that brings out a yellow. 3rd incident if you count that hit in the inside wall in turn 1. Although I'd say he's an innocent bystander here. Chad Robinson, the 8.
Yeah, Robinson got spat out on the exit of 4, and for Thomas, I mean, you can he should have seen that he was already having troubles. He knows the only way he's going to get by. I think he was hoping that the car would like wreck or something like that and just stay in the Armco, but it did not. But either way, for Justin Thomas, though, very, very rough night. Pretty sure that car is got suspension damage. We did also see that Bob King spun. We did see that. But either way, though, we'll get things wound up once again. We had a little bit of green flag racing. And, Randy, I think we've learned that 3 and 4 is very slick.
That's part of the reason I think we didn't see Justin Thomas get out of the throttle, because I think if he would have lifted out of the throttle there, he would have lost a lot of bite on that rear end, and he would have essentially himself just went around. So he basically had to just hope that the car in front of him got it all situated and got it back to running normally. So you know, those middle grooves, very, very slick, very, very on edge, I think, are all these cars. That's why we're seeing everyone making these little mistakes, whether it be spins and getting up into the wall, or it be even getting into the corner a little bit too hard and clipping the wall on the inside, like you saw Justin Thomas do earlier.
Yeah, and either way, maybe perhaps those wing adjustments needing to come into play. I mean, I know these guys set these cars up to dance on the razor's edge. Obviously, I'm not first split speed, but just, you know, that giant wing sitting on the top of that 410 wing sprint car, that's a mobile wing, and they can adjust that as the race goes on. Lights are out on the iRacing official pace truck, so as he goes past 1 and 2, we're going to go green this time by, but either way, Randy, that wing, it is adjustable, puts the weight on the rear wings, and it's pretty important.
Yeah, that wing is hugely important. It's all about, in these cars, getting weight and traction on the right rear, and that big wing helps a lot.
Yeah, and of course, setting it back further helps on the rear wing. And either way, Lewis Hewitt, he holds up just a little bit too long, and perhaps Alex A. Bergeron's going to get in a little bit of trouble from the starter stand as we go back to green flag racing here at Williams Grove. As I hope that he didn't catch the ire of the starter, but if he did, though, he will get a black flag. But Bergeron sliding onto the inside as they're going way, way out on their tails. This is definitely not a point and squirt kind of track right now at Williams Grove, as these cars are going massively sideways, almost as sideways as you would see a late model car here. Apparently that's how the track has to run, and these guys are getting single file, and that's exactly what we want to see.
See the two of Bergeron go to the top, trying to make it work. Doesn't quite able to get it done, but you can see if you work that cushion, you get a big run. We got a pink car down in the wall, though, on the front straightaway. This is Sarah Arable in the 7, going down into corner number 1 right now. Got it back up and situated. We stay green, but an incident for the number 7 machine.
Robbie Starnes also having a little bit of conflagration here. He ended up getting into the bumping with Keith Starnes there, but either way...
Oh, contact for the lead! Contact for the lead! Alex Bergeron going through 1 and 2, gets in the back of Lewis Hewitt, and he takes the lead because of it. Big incident also on the back straightaway, yellow flags.
Yeah,
Semmelman.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll get a replay here. He almost clipped a bridge. I think he got in a little conflagration here with Kevin J. Holly. But yeah, he was coming off a 2. Oh, you know what I think happened? I think Lewis Hewitt, he ended up having that little bit of a bump going through 1 and 2. Actually, it was a bit of a crazy bump. He only managed to get the rear cage, and just reactionary from everyone else. I think Austin Semmelman and Kevin J. Holly, they just made contact.
Yeah, it wasn't the hugest incident, but unfortunate for them, and I'm sure that Austin Semmelman not going to be happy about that. And that's one of the things about this racetrack that, well, all these racetracks that have that pit in and pit out cam that goes to the exterior of the circuit, that although we don't use, any little incident that happens down these straightaways, you can get caught up in there. What might be ordinarily at most tracks just a bit tap of the wall, suddenly you're just running straight into a wall, and that's basically a race done.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old Bristol, I think. Of course, I believe that was, what, Michael Waltrip?
Phoenix used to be like that, yeah.
It was Phoenix.
No, it was Bristol. It was Bristol, but Phoenix used to be the same way.
Also, yeah. Yeah, it's, I'd say it's scary per se, but obviously with these tracks, I mean, there's only so much space on the inside. You don't want crews on the inside. You got to have your pits on the outside. Now, of course, for iRacing purposes, we want all cars pulling onto the inside of the track. That's how things work here, but they get them sorted away nice and easily. But either way, though, we're going to go back to green. This time, it's going to be Alex A. Bergeron pulling it out. And for Lewis Hewitt, I mean, he's going to have some work ahead of him.
Yeah, he's going to be pushing really, really hard, I think, because even though that wasn't the dirtiest move I've ever seen by Bergeron, it was just a slight touch, and I don't think it was anything he even meant to do. Lewis Hewitt's going to be really, really mad, I think, underneath that helmet that he lost that position. You also have the fact that Steven Renaud managed to work himself up into P number 2 now, and he's going to be super aggressive trying to fight for a win as well.
Yeah, Renaud, I mean, he's looking for points here because Logan Seavey is not in attendance. Alex A. Bergeron will hold it 1 second, 2 second, off and away he goes. He actually has to get out of it and back on it or else he would have ended up on the outside wall. But that number 2 car, they go into number 1 and they are single file now, and that's what we'd like to see. These cars single file already as actually Daniel Gao looked to possibly go on the inside of Kevin J. Holly. Nope, just not happening this lap, but single file already, that's what we want.
Smart move by the 2. He got an early jump coming to green, and because of that, he gets himself a slight buffer of about 0.3 of a second over Steven Renaud in the 5 and 2nd. And right now, Lewis Hewitt is doing everything he can to try to close that gap through 1 and 2. That 4 was all over the back of the 5. However, just the way the 5 takes the corner, he just gets a huge run off of it, and he's slowly getting away from our pole sitter, the Ford Lewis Hewitt.
Yeah, and I see Kevin J. Holly way up in the top of that. He's trying to find the cushion and trying to use it as he stays way up, and he's managing to pull on Lewis Hewitt, but he's actually forced Lewis Hewitt to not be able to go up against the wall, and here comes Kevin J. Holly on the outside. It's been a bit of a tricky season for that number 3 car, Randy, but here he is going side by side with Lewis Hewitt into 3 and 4.
Seems like that inside groove is finally starting to drop off, and even though through the middle of the corner you're slower up around the top, you get such a big run. And look at the way Kevin J. Holly into 1 and 2, he's clear, and now he's going to try to cycle him and start fighting with the 5 of Steven Renaud to try to snag that 2nd spot. You're going to be slow on entry and through the middle, but you get such a big run, so much traction on the exit, working the cushion. That 3 of Kevin Holly, if he can pull alongside, he's almost certainly going by.
He's hooked up. He started in 5th position, and he's able to sneak on the outside, throwing that car around. Perhaps now he might have to adjust that top wing just a bit to hold onto that cushion on the outside. But here he comes, Steven Renaud. He's almost going to shut the door. He leaves a little bit of a sniff there, but nothing's in it as Kevin J. Holly is able to throw the entire weight of his car. Doesn't have to brake early as he'll try now to come across, and he'll dive to the inside of Steven Renaud. This is a fight for 3rd position in the overall championship standings right now. Both of these cars on track at the same time. They make contact, and Kevin J. Holly almost goes to the inside wall. He might have steering damage.
He lost a couple of spots. He might have some damage as well, and he's going to lose at least 1 more just in the loss of momentum. So for Kevin J. Holly, it was a good fight while it was happening, and he found the right piece of racetrack at the right time. But unfortunately, that little incident is going to cost him a lot, and he's going to try to just salvage and just hang on here and get the points he can.
While that battle is going on, Alex A. Bergeron has pulled out almost a 1 second gap. You have to wonder perhaps what Lewis Hewitt might have been able to have done if he was still ahead. But Steven Renaud, he's 1 second behind, but my goodness, it's now 1.1 at the line, 1.6 over Lewis Hewitt. Lewis Hewitt, he hasn't really been able to get any speed to catch Steven Renaud, and Daniel Gao, he is running fairly well as well, that number 12 car, as he's starting to pull in here. We've got 2 laps to go as Alex A. Bergeron goes into 1 and 2 just a couple more times.
Into 1 and 2 for the penultimate time as he works down the back straightaway. Still working a 1.1 second lead out in clean air. The closest fight on track is for 3rd and 4th. This is between Lewis Hewitt and Daniel Gao. They come off a 4. White flag in the air. Who'll be there when they can come back to the checkered?
And we'll see here. I think it's pretty easy that unless Alex Bergeron makes a mistake, it's going to be all his. So we'll look to the back as Steven Renaud, Lewis Hewitt, and Daniel Gao, who will get it there. But for Alex Bergeron, managed to make the rules. He managed to just survive a little bit of contact between him and Lewis Hewitt, and he will come home with a victory here at Williams Grove Speedway under the lights. Steven Renaud will finish in 2nd, and Lewis Hewitt, he'll end up coming home in 3rd, able to defend against Daniel Gao.
Definitely a great drive there from Alex Bergeron. Qualified 3rd, and he basically just raced smart. There's only that one incident where he just barely clipped the rear end of Lewis Hewitt. He didn't have to do it physically. He just did it on speed. Yeah, he may have benefited from that one little move, but guess what? That's sprint car racing. Sometimes passes get physical when they have to happen. Definitely unfortunate, though, for Kevin J. Holly. He managed to scramble his way back up to the top 5. So great work from the 3, but I think he had just enough time to potentially make something of it and potentially fight with the 2 there in the closing stages.
Yeah, and for Alex A. Bergeron, I almost wonder, did Lewis Hewitt have that speed before the contact and before all that might have unsettled him? Or did Alex Bergeron, was he waiting that far behind it with that much speed on it? I mean, that was, obviously there was a bit of a gap developed because of the incident between Steven Renaud and Kevin J. Holly, but my goodness, was that a quick wing sprint car. Either way, full results now coming to you in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series, live here on iRacing Live, RaceSpotTV, and of course watching on DirtVision.com. Alex Bergeron takes it in 12 minutes 42 seconds to caution. Steven Renaud, he'll finish in the second position. Lewis Hewitt in third. Daniel Gow fourth. Kevin J. Holly, oh, it could have been. Starting in fifth, he'll finish in fifth, but there was so much more to that story. Sarah Aarons, he'll come home in the sixth position. Keith Starnes and Robbie Starnes in seventh and eighth. Austin Sullivan, oh, that's a bad day for him as he ended up going out early. Chad Robinson will finish in 10th position. Justin Thomas, Bob King, and Alec R. Kane will round out the 13-car field. Randy, we only had 8 cars finishing, but you know what? They put on a darn good show at the end of it.
Yeah, once we got those 4 or 5 cars out, you know, and I'm not going to say that they're problem causes or anything, but once that field got somewhat thinned out, it was a really good race, really good hard fighting up and down the field. The entire field seemed somewhat evenly matched. You know, Bergeron, even though he gets that 1.6 second margin of victory, that a lot of that came just based on the fighting that was happening behind him. He wasn't that much quicker than Renaud or Hewitt in clean air, so definitely a good close race, and congrats on Bergeron for making it 2 in a row.
Yeah, it's 2 Canadians, 2 Australians, and then the rest are Americans. So I think the old USA needs to start really hooting and hollering on these things. But either way, we got Alex Bergeron here in the victory lane, and Alex Bergeron joins us here in the RaceSpotTV. And well, after 12 minutes of racing, a couple of cautions, you made the pass. It was a slight contact, but at the end of the day, you come home with a victory.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I want to apologize to Lewis. It was netcode a little bit, but we didn't even like touch a little bit. It was just like I was very close and netcode happened. So I'm very sorry to him. I mean, that was good racing up front. The island was working quite good. I mean, the car was set up to be good on the outside. I tried everything I can and did my maximum, and we won the race tonight. So 2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row, and you got a pretty hefty gap here. How much practice, how much setup work, and how many different setups are you guys running to try and get these sprint cars as fast as they can get it with the different track conditions?
Well, it's hard work on the setup, that's for sure. But like it's also like the like when we're not practicing that much. I mean, it's just like it's sprint car. That's raw. That's sprint car. That's you know, I cannot tell much about it because it's sprint car in real life. Pretty much the same. It's like sprint car is sprint car, I guess.
you hop in it and you wheel it around, max attack. But either way, it's a good run here from Williams Grove. We did have a couple of cautions, but you know what? We got a lot of green flag running, unlike last week at Volusia. This speedway seems to be a pretty comfortable one for the majority of the field. At the beginning, though, it seemed really wild going into 3 and 4. People were super loose going through it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know what was going on behind me. I don't have any mirrors. Like, we don't have mirrors in those cars, so I don't know what's going on behind me. And the only thing I know is that I had to pass the guy in front of me, and we did. I mean, I'm sorry if we had contact a little bit, but the goal is to always win, and that's what we do.
Eldora is coming up. Of course, we're doing our normal flip flop between the paper clips and the bowls, the bull noses, the bull rings even. But either way, it's Eldora, high line, low line. Depending on what track condition you guys get, that's what's going to end up happening. Which ones do you prefer, the paper clips or the bull rings?
I prefer the paper clips because it's more on the driver thing. Even like on iRacing, it's pretty much a driver thing, and also what kind of setup do you got, but pretty much the driver thing. So you need to wheel the sprint to go around these tracks, and I love them, seriously.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But Alex, thanks so much for hopping in the booth with us. Anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to thanks Team VLR. I'd like to thanks Meyer Inc. And for Michael Benoit for the paint scheme, even though I don't know if it was shown in the broadcast. Thanks for him, and also thanks to Motorsport 88 and you guys for broadcasting.
Well, Alex Bergeron, your race winner. Thanks so much for hopping in. We'll see you at Eldora.
Thank you.
Well, Randy, we're 8 rounds into this thing. That's pretty wild of a thought, I have to say, but only 4 more weeks to go. We've got an Eldora next week. It's going to start, I believe, August 8th will probably be the next one. But either way, though, it's pretty exciting. It's been pretty good running, and we'll see what they can do at Eldora.
Yeah, Eldora. I mean, we're restarting our 4-week cycle one more time. We get 4 more races here, week 9, 10, 11, and then eventually 12. And it's going to be, I think, an exciting finish. Hopefully, these couple tracks that we've had issues with, mostly Volusia, hopefully we can get at least one good run in this season. Get one that's a lot cleaner than what we've had this year. But overall, been a good season.
Yeah, and of course, the last 4 remaining tracks, the 4 tracks we have on the schedule. So it's Eldora, USA, then Volusia, then Williams Grove to finish it out. And Williams Grove at night, hopefully that's going to give us a great season finale. But Eldora, that's actually August 7th, 8:30 Eastern, as we have been all season long here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. And Hugo, I think that's about time to start putting some bows and ribbons on this thing, and we're going to send it on off. But either way, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed the racing here on iRacing Live, RaceSpotTV, and, of course, DirtVision.com. For the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series here on iRacing, we wish you all a very good time going forward. Of course, myself, Cam Walsh, Randy Chenoweth, and Hugo Louis bringing you guys the coverage. We wish you the very best. We'll see you later.